All right, friends, today is the day. I have my $50,000 and I am going to invest it in two things. If you watch this video, I'm going to show you where I'm putting my money, how much, and why. And I'm just going to pull back the curtain and break all that down for you right here, right now. Let's do it. Okay, so welcome back to Joshua Talks Money. Here I talk about everything personal finance. And maybe you're asking, well, why should you care what I have to say? And maybe you shouldn't. But what I do know is I built and sold a tech company, and that taught me a whole bunch about money. And so I'm trying to share the lessons that I've learned and the ones that I'm still learning with you right here every single week. If that sounds good, I would love for you to consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. It helps get these videos out there. It means a ton. I'd really appreciate it. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what I'm doing with this $50K and what these two investments are that I'm going to be buying. I think it's important though to set the stage of what happened to lead up to this decision and this situation. And so let's talk about that quickly. I recently changed jobs, which means I had all of this retirement over here that I could then roll over into something else. And I was really blessed to be able to max out my retirement funds at my last job for about 2.5 years. So this allowed me to build up about $50,000. And now I'm able to pull that out and go put it in other things. And I did a whole video about this. It's called a rollover. And so if you're changing jobs, you should watch that video to see how to move your money. So instead of rolling that money over from one retirement at this job to my new one, I actually moved it to Vanguard. And that's where I have some IRAs and some other accounts. So I put it over there, but most importantly, because it allows me to buy all kinds of investments, far more than what you might get at your job. So I can buy individual stocks, ETFs, and that was really the attractive reason for me to do that. And really quick on the $50,000, that might be a huge amount of money to you. That might not be that significant to you. I'm not sure where you land. But it's a lot of money to me, and the reason why I was able to build up that much was because I didn't, first off, I have no debt, so I was not in debt, and I didn't go get the Tesla that I really wanted, which would have basically eaten up a lot of that investment opportunity, paying on a depreciating asset. And one more thing to know before we dive into the investments is that in 2021, I set out this goal that I was going to stick to index fund investing only, because that was going to guarantee I could capture the market returns, it would lower my risk, and most people are not very good at picking stocks. However, I did go ahead and pick some stocks, and I've picked some stocks that have been really, really bad. Specifically Zillow. I've lost a substantial amount of money from investing in that individual stock. And so I believe all of that's going to recover. But for 2022, I said, let's go with a more conservative investment approach. And that's what I plan to do. Okay, so the first thing, if you watch the channel enough, you know that I'm going to put 80% of this money into VTI. This is the Vanguard Total US Stock Market Index Fund, which basically means I get a slice of every stock in the US stock market. Things from Apple and Amazon all the way down to very small cap stocks. I've done a whole video about VTI that talks about the expenses, historical returns, the top 10 companies. You can check that out on my channel. Okay, so 80% of my money will go to VTI, but what about the other 20%? Well, that's where I'm going to go ahead and invest in an individual company, and I'm going to keep putting money towards that position. And that stock is Coinbase. So maybe you've heard me talk about Coinbase. I did a video about that stock as well and that company. This is a big bet of mine. I think I look back in my life before I was really investing, and because of my career, I'm in the tech industry, I was able to see these companies and use their products very early, many years ago, that have now tripled. Some of them have 10x'd. And if I would have just invested in those back then, I would be really wealthy right now. And so as I think about what companies do I believe are those same opportunities now, Coinbase is at the top of the list. If you don't know, they are a cryptocurrency exchange, one of the largest, I think the largest in the United States. And they make a lot of their money based on transaction fees, but they're going to branch out into many other things, wallets. They're going to do corporate different products. They're going to do NFT marketplaces. And I just believe that this is like buying Facebook back in the 20s. Okay, so there you have it. It is VTI and Coinbase. Now, how am I actually going to go about purchasing these? Well, you'll see that I have this $50,000 roughly in this money market account, meaning that it's not invested. It's more like think of it as a savings account. I'm going to do something called dollar cost averaging. And what this basically means, instead of buying a big lump sum, I'm going to split this $50,000 up over time in some kind of interval. I wouldn't want to buy 50 grand and then the market sells off. Now, although I'm holding this through retirement, I believe that seeing the money go down like that in the short term, it sucks. It's an emotional hit. So I don't want to do that. I'd rather just go and buy some over time and forget about it. Okay, so my time horizon to do this is about 6 months. And so what that means, based on that 80-20 split, about 40 grand will go into VTI, which it comes out to $6.6 thousand per month. I'm leaning towards breaking that down to weekly purchases, meaning $1,600 a week will go into VTI every week for the next 6 months. On the Coinbase side, that 20% is about $10,000. And so what I'll do there, that's about $1,600 per month or $400 per week. So I'm probably going to do $2,000 per week, which is $1,600 VTI, $400 for Coinbase every week for the next half of a year until this money is fully invested into those two positions. So is that the right call? Not only in terms of what I'm buying, but the time and the amount to space that out. I don't know. I've never done this before, but that's my strategy, and we're going to see how it works out over time. And the last thing I'll leave you with is this is just the money I'm moving, right? So I'm still maxing out retirement now moving forward, which is going to be probably similar positions, mostly VTI, except I'm also going to be starting to dollar cost average into Bitcoin regularly every week. I'll do a video about that in the future, but right now that's my strategy. That's how I'm investing $50,000 over the next 6 months, and I will report back on how that is going. Hey, if you found this video interesting, or if you have a different opinion on what I should do, please let me know in the comments. I respond to every single one of you. I'd love to talk to you. Until our next video, take care.